Órale, Cholo Choco, los tres chingones boxing. Shout outs to all the chingones y chingonas, man. All right, little midweek live right here. Um, Mostly because I'm not gonna be here on Friday to do the live, man. For those who don't know, I'm gonna go out to WrestleMania in Vegas. So yeah, that's gonna take up all my time, man. But I want to come on here and talk about everything that's going on in boxing and the fight that took place over the weekend, which I thought, man, homie, you know, I called it, dog. But more than that, more than that, I wonder if people put a little bit too much stock on Montesteniones. Um, Steniones, like where the welterweight division is right now. I think Steniones is you know, he's a strong guy at 147. But that's where the weight division is right now. What's up, Puerto Rican Rum? That's where the weight division is right now, right? So, and I don't think it's really that, I don't think it's in a really, really good place either. So that's why I'm just kind of like, all right. But Boots definitely has more skills. As a matter of fact, I think maybe Boots is number one at 147. I think I favor Boots over anybody at 147. Now, I'm not saying nobody stands a chance against Boots. I'm not saying Boots dominates everybody, but I think I would favor Boots over everybody, except, of course, my guy, Huevo Power. Oh, it's Montes are each other's first big name ever. So whoever won still has so much to prove. At best, they need Norman solidify themselves. All right. Okay. You know what, Dimitro? Let's talk about that. Okay. All right. Who has a better win here? Boots Ennis over a Montesteniones or Brian Norman Jr. over Giovanni Santillan? Who has a better name? Because I never thought I never thought Santillan was really all that. Honestly, I never thought he was all that. Now he was undefeated, but I never thought he was really all that. And then when he went and he put it to Rocha, I was like, damn, that was the first time that Santillan really captured my attention. Like, damn, maybe there was something in this guy that I just wasn't paying attention to. Because Rocha, while I never thought he was the best, I think he's a good scrapper. I do like Alexis Rocha. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's ever going to be the best, but I do have him up there, not amongst the best, but if you can do to him what Giovanni Santillan did to him, I kind of put you on a different level now because Alexis Rocha, he's a good scrapper, dog. So now I ask the question. So who are you more impressed with? Norman doing what he did to Santillan or Boots doing what he did to Montesteniones? Now, right? Right out the gate in this fight, I could just tell, you could just easily tell, man, that, and we're going to get into some other stuff in a little bit too, not just this fight, but you could just tell that, I mean, Boots Ennis, just skill wise, he's on another level than Stanionis, dog. Stanionis doesn't really have good footwork. He's a tough guy. He's just kind of like a put your guard up, come forward, in your face kind of tough guy. Boots Ennis. Let me tell you guys this about Boots Ennis. Okay, Boots Ennis is not as good as a Floyd Mayweather Jr. defensively. Okay, he's not as good as him, but he does possess some of those skills. That what makes him different is that he's actually fun to watch. That's why he gets hit. People keep saying this about Boots Ennis. Oh, he gets hit. Hey, he does get hit. Well, yes, he gets hit. If he doesn't get hit, then he just be like a Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't want to see that. Boots Ennis, I like watching his fights. He's fun to watch. So I don't want his fights to be just complete defense, 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 defense. Just win off a jab here, win by landing a jab there, win by landing one straight right, two straight rights in a round. I don't want to see that. So when people criticize him, like, hey, he does get hit every now and then, that's fine. It's boxing. I don't want this dude just defense all the time. Just land a jab or two when it's safe, making sure you don't get hit. Let me see. I would say Norman over Santillan is slightly better than Boots versus Stanionis. Stanionis is another pseudo PBC special hype job, in my opinion. I mean, I look, man, look, when it comes to Stanionis, right? When it comes to Stanionis, I didn't know who the dude was. The first time I heard his name was when he was supposed to go up against Virgil Ortiz. That's the first time I started paying attention to him. Outside of that, I didn't know who he was. Now, I knew who Giovanni Santillan was before Alexis Rocha got in there with him. And I'll be honest, dog, I thought, I thought Giovanni Santillan, dog, I thought he was boring. I thought he was like, man, this fool kind of sucks, dog. So what Brian Norman did to Santillan, yeah, it definitely just doesn't fly under the radar. I just don't sweep it under the rug and say like, it's whatever. But what I've been seeing from Boots Ennis, yes, he hasn't fought a lot of top competitors. This was, if you guys want to consider Stenionis a top competitor, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But nonetheless, dog, I see the skill set in Boots Ennis. And I think this guy can be top dog. I think he is. Honestly, I look at 147 right now. Who beats him? Some might say Brian Norman Jr. Okay, well, hopefully that fight gets made. Man, Brian Norman's dead. I'll tell you, man. That vato, man, that dude's got a mouthpiece on him. But I would favor Boots Ennis. I like Boots Ennis, man. I'm becoming more and more of a fan of his. Of course, as long as he stays away from my boy Connor Ben, homie, because I think Connor Ben puts it to all of them. But Connor Ben has a fight coming up at the end of this month against Chris Eubanks, man. So, man, I will be watching that fight, dog. Boots is definitely top dog at 147, but when he hits 154, things are going to change. Okay, see, here's one thing. Here's one thing. I did a short, right after the fight, saying like, "Hey, I predicted this that in the sixth round it would end," and it was in between the sixth and seventh round, right? And I said there that that's it. I don't think he's gonna stick around long enough to unify the straps. However, after hearing Boozy NS talk, what he had to say, exactly what you're talking about right here, Demetrio. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Maybe he does have more time at 147 because the thing that was killing him was the IBF rule of the 10-pound rehydration clause, right? Which, if you're just fighting for the IBF strap, you have to weigh in same day of the fight. There's a rehydration clause of 10 pounds. And the only time they waive that off is if there's multiple titles on the line. So now that he has more than just the IBF strap, that's it. No more 10-pound rehydration clause. So now I think he can make 147 comfortably as long as he rehydrates. So I think now we're going to see Boots stick around um, at 147 for a little bit longer. I mean, I don't think he can stay down there his whole career, but I think we get to see him there for a little bit longer. I don't think, I'm going to be real with you guys, man. I don't think Brian Norman wants that fight. I don't think he does. Um, Barrios, I'm not even sure, dog. I keep hearing different stories with Mario Barrios, so I'm not even sure where the hell that's going. But yeah, man. Hey, Boots Ennis, I like it. I'm a fan. I like watching him fight, dog. The guy's got skills. He's not boring. I like watching him fight, man. I'm a fan of his. So, hey, man, congrats to him. And now, because he's got multiple straps, I would say he's the top guy, man. I think everybody needs to go after him. He doesn't need to be going after any of these dudes. Gonna try to wait him out and keep talking about taxes. Everyone knows Norman is afraid. I think they're really looking for some sort of payday that they're not worth, man. Honestly, I just think they're looking for a big payday, trying to price themselves out. Because, look, Boots is not worth that much Fedia. He's just not. Even if he's top dog, even if he's champ, he's not worth a lot of money. His stock is starting to grow a little bit more, but he's not, racking in a Brinks truck. He's starting to get a little bit more. Starting to get a little bit more of a following. Starting to build a little bit more, but he's not worth that money, dog. Boots turned down 1.3 mil and a unification to make 100,000 on Mayor's undercard. Oh, Norman. Yeah, Norman did. Yeah, Norman did. Yeah. I mean, look, if you turn down that money, right? But as long as you keep making fights where you're getting paid 100, 200, 300 grand, but they're easy fights for you. I mean, you could make a good career. You could make a good living off of that. If I'm gonna have three fights, all three fights worth, 200,000, a quarter mil each, but they're all easy fights as opposed to a million right off the rip. But oh man, I might lose. Some guys might say like, I'll just stick with making a quarter mil fighting these type of fights, and I know I'm gonna win. I'll stay active. I'll build my resume, and who knows? Maybe this becomes some sort of mega fight at the end of next year. Because right now it's not a mega fight. Right now, this fight is just simply for all the hardcore fans. This fight right now is for you and I. But for everybody else, man, they don't really know who these dudes are. So I I feel two ways about it. Okay, I feel two ways about it. One is, hey, The best fight the best. Let's go. Right. Two is like, okay, they're looking at it from, all right, we can do this, but how are we gonna make the most money out of it? As a fan myself, man, homie, I don't really care how much you get paid or not. I love the sport, right? But you have to think about your money. You have to think about, this is your life, this is your career, this is how you make a living. So I think right now, Brian Norman versus Boots Ennis, right now I think it's just for us, it's just for you and I, man. But if you wait, if they wait it out a little bit, it can turn in to a bigger money fight. Barrios waiting on Manny, Connor payday. Man, Connor will put it to that dude, dog. And I like Azteca Barrios. I do. I do like El Azteca Barrios. Okay. I not because I think he's such a great fighter, but just because he brings it. So I do like El Azteca. Man, Connor will put it to him, dog. But we got to see what's up with Connor. We'll find out what's up with Connor Ben, which I'm really interested to see what Connor Ben does after the Chris Eubanks fight. Is he going to go back down to 147? Is he going to 154? 147 seemed to be his playground. So um, let's see what happens with that, man. But I think Connor, he's game on with a lot of these dudes at 147, man. It's just he's wrapped up in this other kind of kind of a bozo fight, but in reality, it's just, I mean, it's big over there. But anyway, man, hey, let me talk about this. There was um there was talks of maybe Joshua versus Tyson Fury. And this is the thing that kind of gets me, right? Is when boxing fans come out and say like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Like, okay, do you mean you really truly don't want to see it? Nah, nah, it's just it's past, that would have been a good fight, 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, I agree. I agree. It would have been a better fight back then. But if it's get the fight now or never get it, I'd rather get it now. While both are past their prime, I'd rather get it. Somebody I remember um hearing not too long ago that Keith Thurman, he brought up Errol Spence. It's not for sure that Keith Thurman is going to fight Tim Tszyu next. Now, him versus Errol Spence, would that have been a much bigger fight years ago? Yeah. But if they make it now, I'm cool with it. The problem I have is them making it pay per view. That's the only issue I have. But I'm like, okay, either we never see it or we see it while the guys are past their prime. I'm like, I'd rather see it when they're in their prime for damn sure. But if we don't get it and they're gonna do it, 5 years too late, that's fine. I'll still watch it. But yeah, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, I'm in. I'm in, man. I am definitely in. Yes, it would have been a better fight before, but I'm still definitely in. Hey, let me go ahead and bring up this. Let me see what you guys think about this, man. Let me put this up. Okay, so we all know what happened with Dimitri Bivol, right? He got stripped by the WBC. The WBC jumped in front of the IBF and told Bivol that he needed to fight Benavides. Meanwhile, Bivol already had a contract to fight Better BF, and the WBC wasn't even next in line to push their mandatory. The IBF is. But Jose, what's up, JC? Jose Benavides Sr. was interviewed here, and let's see what he had to say because he's giving his explanation on why Bivol decided to give up the title to Benavides, which is all right. Well, let me say no more. Let me go ahead and throw this in there. Here we go. Here we go.
Went in there, boom, boom, boom. David really good. Hurt him with the right hand, and I was like, "What the has happened?" You know, he got Bebo with the straight right, and he hurt him. And you know, then like a week later, they
All right, so he's talking about when Bivol sparred Benavides, and he's talking about David that he put hands on Bivol during sparring.
say, "Hey, listen, let's do it again." You know, so David again. You know, and from then on, you know, David, they're really good. We spar again, and with Medellin Robles when they had the boxing. I forgot the name of the
Yeah, legends.
legends. We went in there and they came. He only did 2 rounds. We drove like 4 hours to go there, and they only lasted 2 rounds. And then from there on, no more sparring, never before. So you know, it was David did really good against him, and he knows that's why he gave David the belt because he knows what's going to happen now.
Yeah, that
Okay. Oh, dog. Okay, so he basically said that David put hands on Bivol during sparring, not once but twice. Look, let me go ahead and tell you guys this, man. I got no problem believing. I got no problem believing that Benavides did good in a sparring session against Bivol. I have no problem believing that. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I wasn't there to witness it. I have no issues believing when somebody says, "Oh, I put hands on him during sparring." Okay, so be it. That's fine. Again, it's sparring. So I mean there's some validity you could put on it, but again, it's sparring. But the fact that he finishes off by saying that's why he gave us the belt because he knows what would have happened to him if he fought. If we fought, like, dog, are come on, man. Now, okay, let me go ahead and tell you guys this, man. Let me see. This interview is a joke. Viegas afraid. You know what, Demetro? You're not the first one to say that, dog. You're not the first one to say that. Hey, JC, we're gonna talk about that next. We're definitely gonna talk about that next, man. Ben Senior is a okay. So I have no problem with dudes adding a little bit of more salsa to the tacos. I got no issue with that. When Xander Zayas talked about Virgil Ortiz Jr., right? And he said, "Oh, Virgil took the safer fight, because if he loses to me, he's losing to an up and coming kid." So, in a way, he ducked me. He took a safer fight because if he loses to a top competitor. But if he loses to me, he loses to an up and coming young kid. Okay, the way Xander Zaya spinned it, I got no issue with it because he's not lying. He's telling the truth. He didn't say that Virgil is afraid of him. He just said he picked the other guy, and he's not lying. If he loses to Xander Zayas, yeah, he's losing to an up and coming young kid, right? But if he loses to Israel Madrimov, oh, he loses to, and not to say that Israel Madrimov is some sort of top dog, right? I mean, nobody even really knew who he was till he fought Terrence Crawford, and some people think he beat Crawford. I still think Crawford barely escaped with the win, but it was a real competitive fight. But see, Xander Zayas, he wasn't lying out of his ass either. He just decided to just add a little bit more salsa to the tacos, but he wasn't lying. This right here, what I just showed you guys, this right here, what are you talking about, dog? The WBC Mauricio Sulaman goes, and something that should be illegal in boxing. This is why it like boxing is just wide open, dog. So anybody could go in there and do their dirty work. You go and you put a mandatory on a fighter that already has a contract for a trilogy when you're not even next in line to demand a mandatory for your title. The IBF is. You go in there. He won that strap in February. And in the month of April, you go and you're pressuring him. You're pressuring him in March. You started putting pressure on him in March, knowing that you were not next in line and knowing that he was under contract for the trilogy fight. And now you got Jose Benavides over here saying like, "Oh, we beat him up in sparring. That's why he gave us the belt." What are you talking about, dog? The belt went over to you guys because of some dirty movidas. Now, I'm not saying that's the Benavides' fault. I don't know unless they were in on it. But I'm telling you guys, man, this bugs me, dog. This bugs me. This is a lot of the reasons why a lot of these titles don't mean squat. Why nobody even really cares about championships or anything of that sort, and because of things like this. You're gonna take a title from a guy who's under contract, and you're not even up to demand a mandatory. You're gonna take that title and give it to this guy who doesn't even need to fight for it. You're just gonna give it to him, and now there it is. Now the championships are split up. Like, dog, yeah, my goodness, Holmes. My goodness, man. Let me see that one more time. Let me see. Let me bring it up. All right.
Has happened. He got Bebo with a straight right, and he hurt him. And then like a week later, they say, "Hey, listen, let's do it again." So David again. And from then on, David, they're really good. We spar again, and with Merlin Robles when they had the boxing. I forgot the name of the
Yeah, legends.
legends. We went in there and they came. He only did 2 rounds. We drove like 4 hours to go there, and they only lasted 2 rounds. And then from there on, no more sparring, never before. So it was David did really good against him, and he knows that's why he gave David the belt because he knows what's going to happen now.
Yeah, that's
Hey, dog, and he says it with such impunity. I swear, dog, this dude says it with such impunity, man. Team Benavides, Simpson, look, are the dumbest team in boxing. Turn down Colin Smith payday. See, that's what okay. Look, at the very least, at the very least, if Mauricio Sulaimán was going to do something dirty like this, he should have said, okay, I'm not handing this belt over to anybody. I don't care who the heck the interim, regular, all this nonsense, dog, which is it's already confusing for hardcore boxing fans. How the heck do you expect casuals to understand any of this nonsense with all you fools out there doing all this kind of dumb stuff, man? At the very, very least, if you're going to do something dirty, if you're going to strip Bivol, then say, okay, check this out. I want to see, because now he's acting like a damn promoter. Okay, now I want to see Colin Smith versus David Benavides. The winner becomes WBC champion at the very least. Like you, as a sanctioning body, order that fight. Doesn't guarantee that fight's going to happen, but you order that fight. Winner becomes champion. But man, it looks like David Benavides is actually going to fight Zurdo after Zurdo gets done with I forgot the dude he's fighting, but looks like Benavides is actually going to move up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo. I don't think we see Benavides against Better BF or against Bivol. I don't. Against Colin Smith, maybe one day, but I don't think we see Benavides in there against Bivol or Better BF, man. So, all right, let me touch on one last thing here before I wrap it up. I had no idea. I had no idea that the Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez fight. I had no idea it was at 144. Did any of you guys know that it was at 144? Because I didn't. Zurdo versus Doctrines, a tough Cuban. Yeah, he's a Cuban guy. And Zurdo has gotten better. He's gotten better, man. I'm not saying I'm like impressed, but I'm impressed that he's gotten better because for a long time I thought he just like I thought he was super duper just mediocre, dog. Okay, so I had no idea that I thought all the fights on that Friday card were at 147 with the exception of Teal versus Barbosa. I knew that fight was at 140, but I thought the other two fights were both at 147. But no, there were the only one that's at 147, from what I understand now, is Ryan and Rolly, which is the fight of the century. I'm telling you guys, dog, I'm pumped up for that fight. But I didn't know it was at 144 for Haney and Ramirez. And now, according to shoot, man, Robert, the trainer, Garcia, the Haneys came and said, like, hey, you know what? Let's do it at 147. And they already had a contract. So Robert didn't really see a problem with it. So he was like, that's cool. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. I'm wondering if Devin Haney, I'm wondering if he's having a good training camp. I'm wondering if he's having problems making 144. Because his last fight, it was at 140. Again, Ryan Garcia did not make 140 for that fight. Ryan Garcia has never made 140. Devin Haney did make 140, but I don't know if he's having trouble making 144 to the point where they're asking for the 3 extra pounds and let's just do this at welterweight. Let me ask you guys, man, if you're Robert Garcia and your opponent comes and says, you guys are already under contract, right? You're under contract. I thought, I wouldn't hold it against Robert if he would have said, not Charlie, dog. Heck, it ain't my fault that your Vato is over there struggling to make the weight. We're on point. Because we're just, I don't know, what are we, 2, 3 weeks away. So if your guy that feels like he can't get down to 144, oh well, the contract's already signed. Signed, sealed, and all we gotta do is deliver the fight now. Let me see. Joel Maddox mentioned the catch weight during the presser. He said once very sneakily though. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, it must have gone over my head, man. I didn't know that. 147 gonna benefit Ramirez. Well, that's what Robert said. It said that it's Jose is gonna feel really good at 147. It's so bad at 140, super slow. Yeah. So we'll see who it benefits more. But as of right now, man, now I'm starting to think like, okay, something's going on with the Haney camp. If they agreed to this 144-pound catch weight, and here we are about 3 weeks away from the fight, and now you just barely bring it up, like, hey, you know what? Let's renegotiate this contract. Which again, Robert didn't have to. He didn't have to. He could have just said, no, the contract is made. You want to breach the contract, you breach the contract. But the fight's already made. Unless, unless, unless Robert was afraid that the Haneys were going to do something like pull something like an injury. Oh, can't make it. Injured. Unless, because that could have happened. The Haneys could have just came back and said, like, you know what? Threw out my shoulder, sprained my ankle, fractured a knuckle or something. But I'll give it, man. I'll give it to the Garcia camp, dog. Robert Garcia and Jose Ramirez, because in reality, that contract was done. They could have just said, like, nah, screw that, dog. We feel good. We're ready. We can't wait till May 2nd. If you're struggling making weight, homie, that's your problem. And now, as we get closer and closer to this fight, Chingones, as we get closer to this fight, I'm starting to think that maybe Ramirez actually takes it to Devin Haney, dog. At first, I was like, nah, Haney's gonna win this fight. But you know what? After listening to Robert, after listening to Ramirez and him talking about making 140 and it's just not for him anymore. Man, I'm thinking he's probably got the best chance for an upset here. Come on, dog. I'm thinking he's got the best chance for an upset in this three-fight card here. I think he's the best underdog for the upset, followed by Barbosa and then Rolly Romero. But now I'm really starting to believe, man. Now I'm actually starting to favor. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I'm starting to favor Jose Ramirez in this fight. There's always some type of excuse when he loses. In a way, yeah. No, I'm with you, JC. That's fair. That's fair. It seems like Vatos like to give him a pass, and probably just because he's a good dude, right? You never see Ramirez in any mensadas. You never see him, acting like a jackass, homie. You never see him out there, acting like a complete burro or anything like that, right? So when he talks, people tend to believe him because of his character. If he were out there running around acting like a complete dumbass, if he were a Ryan Garcia, I don't think people would believe him. Now he could be lying, He could be the biggest liar. Who knows, dog, right? Freaking mentiroso. Hey, where's my mentiroso at? Let me see. Today you tell me something y mañana otra cosa. Come on, man. I know you vatos know what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Right now, you're just a liar, a straight mentirosa. Today you tell me something y mañana otra cosa.
That could be him, but because the man has character, because the man comes off as a straight shooter, people tend to believe him. And I'm not saying he's lying, but he can be. But I'm not, he carries himself a certain way, a respectable way. And that's why I say so many times, man, be careful on how you carry yourself. Because when it's time, when it's time to believe your ass, a lot of vatos aren't going to believe you. If you're over there acting like a complete burro, if you're over there running around, dog, if you're, doing, the Oscar de la Hoya, if you're doing the Adrian Broner, if you're doing the Ryan Garcia, if you're doing all that, and you're being truly honest, a lot of people aren't going to believe you, man. Why? Because of your character. Ramirez doesn't have that character. He comes off as a real straight shooter. So, JC, I agree, dog. I agree. It seems like there's always an excuse for whenever he loses. Man, but I believe him. I believe him. And maybe that's being gullible because he's just a straight, nice, good dude. Comes off as a real honest character. Let's see. Saludos. Looking forward to this card. I hope Ramirez pulls it off. I think he can. Joaquin, shouts to you out there in Albuquerque, homie. Uh, Luke Horrible versus Rancis Bartholomew. Hey, what is Rancis Bartholomew? Is he like from the Bahamas or something? Almost punched, then lost. Barbosa like RGBA, but he seems done, even at 32. We'll see. Well, we'll see because this is the first time he moves up, and he's saying he feels good at the weight. But then again, what's a fighter supposed to say? Hey, I don't feel good at this weight. He's supposed to say that. So Ram too slow. Haney gonna box out of him. Ah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that piece. It's not like Devin Haney is super fast either, dog. Devin Haney's not the slickest dude. He gets caught every now and then. Ramirez was handpicked to restore Haney's confidence. I agree. I agree with that. But doesn't mean he has to go along with it. I say Haney wins competitive 7-5, 8-4, fight style fight. Okay. Ramirez a nice guy, but he blew it taking a year off. He could have fought Tio. I think Bartholomew Cuban. Yeah, I think he is, right? Something like that. He's Cuban. Okay, he's okay. Same card as him in Miami. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, man, the big news for that fight is that it is no longer on at a catch weight. Now it is at a full welterweight, 147 pounds, because the Haney camp came out and wanted to renegotiate the contract. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys. I don't know if that means that Haney's having trouble making 144. Maybe he got sick. Something, I don't know. I mean, you could read into it as much as you want, or maybe I mean, I don't know why they would do it just for no reason, but Haney has been tagged by every fighter with decent left. Jojo, Loma, Linares, Ryan. Hey, if you guys remember, man, when he fought Linares, that was the fight when Haney started running at Linares to hold him, right? Smart move. Smart move. I've never really seen anything like that. and people, came down on Haney pretty hard for it. And, so did I. But in reality, you do what you got to do to survive. It's like, damn, I'm buzzed, homie. This dude got me drunk. I'm going to just run and hold him. Now, that was on the referee to say, like, hey, you do that again, I'm going to take away a point. A younger Linares beats Haney. At that time, I think so. At that time, I think so. It took Haney 2 rounds to recover. It took him a minute. It took him a minute. It took him a minute. So he is pretty chinny, man, but he does get back up. I will say that. He does get back up. So does he get drunk pretty easily? Yeah, but I'll give it to him. He gets up. He gets up. He doesn't stay down. He's being trained by Shane Mosley. That's right. You're right, Joaquin. Shane Mosley is now part of the Haney camp. Yeah. Not sure if it makes a difference. I don't know, man. So something happened there. And they added another person. I forgot who it was, but they added another person to the Haney camp as well. Not just Shane Mosley. So I don't know if it was in the best interest of everybody just saying, like, you know what, let's just see if we could renegotiate this to 147. And he showed a lot of heart versus Ryan. Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Haney. He does seem like he got a little bit of a glass jaw, like he gets rocked pretty easily, but he survives. And if he goes down, he gets back up. So I'll definitely give that to him. Anyway, man, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna tap up out of here. We will not be on this Friday. I'm gonna be in Vegas. I fly out tomorrow. I'm going to WrestleMania, man. So maybe I'll tap in tomorrow for a little bit if there's anything going on. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here for a little bit and chop it up with you guys, man. And I shall be back next week for sure. If not tomorrow, then next week for sure, man. But hopefully we'll back with all the boys, man, with the whole crew and doing it all up. And we got Connor Ben versus Chris Eubanks at the end of this month. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, pues, man. Hey, you guys be good. I'll catch you guys on next one. Let me leave you guys with one more mentirosa.
Now you're just a liar, a straight mentirosa. Today you tell me something y mañana es otra cosa.
Cholo, Choclos, Tres Chingones, Boxing. Shots, all the Chingones and Chingonas. Catch you guys on next round.